All right, today we want to go over how to install an upper tackle storage drawer in an iKon LX20. So tools you'll need a 9/64 long drill bit, a countersink bit, a number 2 Phillips, a measuring tape, a speed square as well will work, a blue tape, and then obviously it'll come with the hardware as far as your 32 number 10 by 3/4 black screws, your 4 number 10 bench and 3/4 Phillips heads, and your 4 number 8s by 1 inch for your latch. And then you'll need a marking device, whether it be a pencil, a grease pencil, a number 2 pencil, and that's it. All right, let's get started. All right, so when it comes to installing your rails, all right, you want to measure from the top of the deck, right here. You want to come down 9 3/8, and you can pick just anywhere right in this area, you know, 3 to 4 inches outside the radius, you'll be good. Take a speed square, align it to your 9 3/8, and then obviously I've already marked it for video purposes, but then just mark the top of your speed square. So you want 9 3/8 at the back. I can mark both sides. All right, then at the front, there's the work instruction will say the bow. I just come right here in this area. Again, as long as you're out of this radius, I mean, you can get close to it. It doesn't matter, anywhere right in here, you're good. And you can see the measurement is 8 3/4. We have to mark the distance out of the back of the radius, all right, which is 2 inches. So my tape is virtually lined here on this section of the liner, and then I can take my speed square and put it against the wall of the stringer and then mark my 2 inches, you see. So that gives me the front to back, and I got my height, all right? Now, I've installed a few of these, let's say it. You can go, you got a couple different options here, all right? You can either align it here. Hey, if you got somebody to help you, vice versa, get it lined up on your 2 inches, front to back, and your top line. And you can actually align it and drill it without using tape. But for your first time, first 5 or 6 I installed, I do recommend using the tape. It just makes it easier if you're, a do-it-yourselfer. Vice versa. So I can align it, then I can tape it where I can see my mark, but I do not want to cover my screw hole up of where I'm going to have to drill at either, right here. So I can put me 1 piece of tape there, and then I'll get me another piece of tape right here and align it right here at the front at my mark, and then tape it off. And then I'm good to go. You want to double check, make sure your tape's not sagged. You notice once I line the front, I'm gonna reposition it because the tape, it sagged down. So I've got it back on my line, readjust it, good to go. All right, that's where you end up taking your 9/64 drill bit. I recommend drilling, I usually install this one first. So I'll drill me a hole in this one, and then I'll pick any screw hole up here near the front, and I'll drill typically this one, and I could do one in the middle. Then I'm going to take my rail off, all right? So if I drill me at least 2, 3's fine, 4's fine, but you just don't want it to be where your drill's hitting it and sliding your rail. Then I would take it off, then swap, use my countersink, and then be sure and countersink all your holes. Then I would countersink those 3. All right, then I actually hold the rail back up in place, and I install the 2 or the 3 screws that I put, that I pre-drilled and countersunk already. So it makes it easier overall and speeds up the process if you do that. So I could, simply install 1 screw there, or even 1 here. I do recommend putting 1 up at the front though, for sure. All right, now Then I would swap back to my drill bit, drill the remaining holes in my rail. All right, and you also have some underneath on the aluminum channel right here, the support channel that's underneath. So there will be 4 of them down here as well. So I'll take this back off just to show you the holes on the bottom, so you don't accidentally forget about them or overlook them. But it's right here. See it, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and as long as you get you know, pre-drill all your holes, like I say, take it off, countersink them, then you'll be good to go. All right, now we've got our rails installed. We'll look at setting our drawer into place. All right, one thing to pay attention to is basically you have your axles, then you got your wheels, okay? So you wanna make sure that when you go and lean it in there, obviously they're meant to slide back and forth, but one doesn't actually fall out. If it does, I mean, there's 2 pillars in there that aligns it, and it's pretty easy to line back up, but that's something you gotta be careful about. All right, so I typically take one of my fingers and put in one of the dip and die markers, or spiket markers holder, and or for dip and die or bang holder over here, and I turn it in an angle, come down and set it off down into the area, okay? Now I'm gonna raise the back end up, and I keep it forward about, you know, 8 to 10 inches here, and come over. So then I adjust the axles out and align it into the track. See right here?
Yep, I got you.
All right, so I'm aligning my axles, pulling them out, and they're actually gonna set down in the track of the rail, okay? And then I've lined both sides. I have my front in place now. I can slide it back and forth. And I wanna go ahead and I wanna do that just a couple times to make sure everything's seated. And yep, everything's set really nice. So come back. Now the next step will be to install your latch, okay? So it'll, again, you'll receive your drawer and you'll have a latch. You notice it has slots and a shim. Well, the shim is basically, it's just, I mean, it's slotted just like the latch itself. So if you notice here, I'll have to get my screws here in a second, but something I want to talk about. In production, there's never any weight in the drawer. So they basically make it go down and seat against it and, you know, tie it against it, and then they, you know, install it. I recommend for you, the customer, if you're one doing it, to go ahead and put tackle in this, what you feel you're going to carry the most of. That way it puts a little bit of weight in it. Now the drawer's not going to move very much, but I mean, it's I do recommend that. That way you won't have to go back and adjust it later, because the closer you can get it to this, the better off you're going to be, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, because it's spring loaded, and you basically, I mean, you have a 1/2 inch of travel on it. So you know, the closer you can get it to it with your weight in it, the better off you'll be. All right. All right, and that does it. That is how you install the upper drawer and an iKon LX20. That's a wrap.